Hello, good afternoon, everyone. This is Arnold M. Salamin, and this is the continuation of my presentation, Introduction to Financial Management. Each individual has its own definition of business. Some see a business establishment as just business, regardless of its size. But we don't know that each business has its own structure, and that is what we are going to talk about for today. So I selected business types in Canada. An investor can choose from a variety of business structures when looking to operate in Canada or Alberta. There are four types of business structures in Canada, and this business structures are very common all over the world. So we have number one, sole proprietorship, number two, partnerships, number three, corporations, and number four, cooperatives. So what do we mean when we say sole proprietorship? So this is the first type of business structure. With this type of business organization, you are the sole owner and fully responsible for all debts and obligations related to your business. All profits are yours to keep. You can operate a sole proprietorship under your name or under another names you've chosen as long as you don't add any of the legal designations of other forms of business, such as Ltd or Inc. Alright, so sole proprietorship, it says here that you are the owner of the business and all the profit are yours to keep. So I think based on the definition, this one is the simplest form of business structure, the smallest form of business structure. So how are we going to register your business if you are planning to establish your own business? So sole proprietorship and partnership can operate under the name of the owners or under a trade name. If the business name is different than that of its owner or indicates the involvement of more than one person, the name must be registered. The fee for registration of a trade name is $30. This is um, for Canada. Alright, so we have a note. Note that while the basic procedure for setting up a business is the same no matter what part of Canada you live in, details are different in each province and territory. So each province and territory has its own rules and regulations regarding business registration. But uh, uh, but the basic rules and regulations so you can register or operate it under your name or under a trade name um, uh, as long as you don't add any legal designations of other forms of business. Alright, so we have advantages and disadvantages of sole proprietorship. So number one, easy and inexpensive to register. So you just spend $30 to register your business. You have direct control of decision making since sole proprietorship. Uh, you own the business. You get all the money. Minimal working capital required for startup. So since it is considered as the smallest type of business structure, so you just need minimal working capital for this one. Some tax advantages if your business is not doing well, for example, deducting your losses from your personal income and a lower tax brackets when profits are low. So there are some tax advantages or tax exemptions for sole proprietorship, and all profits go to you directly. So you don't have to like pay salaries for employees like that if you are the owner or you operate your business on your own. All right, so we have the advantages for that, and also we have disadvantages. Can be difficult to raise capital on your own. So if it's a small business, it's really difficult if people doesn't know your business that well, especially if you started with minimal working capital, so it's really difficult. You must renew your registration every 5 years. All right. Lack of continuity for your business if you are unavailable. So if ever that you are residing to other parts of the country or you plan to go outside of the country or you're busy, then it's real difficult to operate your business. And then unlimited liability. If you have business debts, claims can be made against your personal assets to pay them off. So if ever that you owe someone, then uh, it comes from you directly. And if your business is profitable, this could put you on to a higher tax bracket. So if ever that you manage to operate your business and then you gain a lot of profit, then you will be put into a higher tax bracket. So it goes from you, it comes from you directly since you don't you operate the business, it is under your name, and then you own the business. Next one, partnerships. So the first one is sole proprietorship, which is the simplest and the smallest form of business structure. Now we have partnership. A partnership is a non-incorporated business that is created between two or more people. In a partnership, your financial resources are combined with those of your business partners and put into the business. You and your partners would then share in the profits of your business according to any legal agreement you have drawn up. In a general partnership, each partner is jointly liable for the debts of the partnership. While in a limited partnership, a person can contribute to the business without being involved in its operations. In a limited liability partnership is usually only available to a group of professionals such as lawyers, accountants, or doctors. So we have three types of partnerships here, and it depends upon you whether you are going to choose general limited and limited liability, depending on what you want. Alright, so when establishing a partnership, you should have a partnership agreement in place. This is important because it establishes the terms of the partnership and can help you avoid disputes later on. Hiring a lawyer or other legal professional to help you draw up a partnership agreement will save you time and protects your interests. So for partnership, you don't work alone, you have a business partner. So profit doesn't only go to you or doesn't go directly to you, but also you're going to share the profit with your business partner. Alright, so we also have advantages and disadvantages while you are running a partnership business. So advantages, fairly easy and inexpensive to form a partnership. Number two, startup costs are shared equally with you and your partners. So if ever that you're going to establish a business, it's not the capital will not only come from you, but you are going to share it with your partner. Equal shares in the management profits and assets. So sharing tax advantage if income from the partnership is low or loses money, you and your partner includes your shares of the partnership in your individual tax returns. So we also have disadvantages. There is no legal difference between you and your business. So it's like both of you will share the profit and assets and also the management. So it is not like someone will be high will receive higher and then the other one will receive lower profits and also assets. So it should be fair and it should be equal. All right. So can be difficult to find a suitable partner. So if ever that you are going to find someone, make sure that he or she is knowledgeable to manage a business. So, but nowadays it's really kind of difficult. All right. So possible development and conflict between you and your partner. So let's say, for example, there is an unequal sharing of profits and assets. So there's a big possibility that you and your partner might have a conflict or some issues regarding managing the business. It's really common nowadays. And you are held financially responsible for business decisions made by your partners. For example, contracts that are broken. So it's not only you, both of you will be held responsible. Okay, so next type of business structure is corporation. Another type of business structure is a corporation. Incorporation can be done at the federal or provincial territorial level. When you incorporate your business, it is considered to be a legal entity that is separate from its shareholders. As a shareholder of a corporation, you will not be personally liable for the debts, obligations, or acts of the corporations. A company can be formed under the Provincial Company Act or the Canada Business Corporations Act. And corporations that is done provincially, giving a company the right to operate under its corporate name in a particular province. Federal incorporation gives a company the right to operate under its corporate name throughout Canada. The company's continuance depends only on the filing of the annual returns and annual meetings of the shareholders and directors. The Company Act allows a company to be owned by just one person. If more than one person is involved in the business, a unanimous shareholders agreement is recommended to establish the operational rules between the shareholders, including dispute resolution and share evaluation. It is wise to consult a lawyer to ensure that the company is set up in a manner that meets your business presence and future needs. So a corporation is a high level of business structure because it is considered a legal entity. It is not not as easy to manage like a sole proprietorship and partnership. So the question is, how are we going to establish a corporation? So we have 4 steps to incorporation. Number 1, name your business. So if ever that you are going to establish your own corporation, make sure that the business you are going to a business name that you are going to use is unique or hasn't been used by other business owners. And then after that, you are going to get a business number, all right, which will identify your business to the government. And number 3, decide whether to incorporate federally or provincially. Provincial incorporation is sufficient for most online store owners. This process is less expensive and easier to navigate than the federal option. A federal corporation, on the other hand, allows you to do business under the same name in all provinces, but it's more complicated, so be sure to seek the advice of a lawyer when completing this step. So the third step is a bit complicated, so it is better to seek a lawyer if ever that we are going to decide whether our corporation is federally or provincially. And then next one, register for GST or HST account. If your company makes more than 30,000 a year, you must register for a GST or HST account with the government. Even though isn't mandatory if you make less than the set amount, it's beneficial to register for the account and either way. So GST and HST, we are going to talk about that later. Alright, so how are you going to register your company? So if you choose federal incorporation, you need to go through the procedure of incorporation through Corporations Canada. Corporations Canada administers the CBCA, Canada Business Corporations Act. So if you choose provincial incorporations, on the other hand, you need to contact the appropriate provincial registrar. So there's a difference between the two. If you're going to use federal, it is a bit complicated than the provincial incorporation. Some of the provinces have their own websites which offer online provincial incorporation. So you can just register your own business in your own province if you are going to select provincial incorporation. On the other hand, you need to undergo the legal procedures when you choose to establish your corporation under federal incorporation. So a corporation must be registered with the Registrar of Companies. The basic cost for filing the forms is between $300 and $355. So this only applies in Canada. So any name you choose should be unique and distinctive. Make sure that no business owners or no business establishment don't have the same name like yours. So make sure it's unique. You do not want a name that is similar to or could be confused with an existing name. It should also be descriptive of your business. So if ever that you are selling burgers or you're selling shirts or sports attire, make sure that the name that you are going to choose is related to the services or products that you are offering. You must also add legal designations such as LTD or INC to advise the public that you are operating as a limited liability company. If you do not choose a name, the registrar of companies will assign a number to your company. So if ever that you don't have a name, then you will be given or assigned a number. So corporation, we also have advantages and disadvantages. So the advantages, easier to raise a capital than it might be with other business structures. Since it is a higher level of business structure, unlike the sole proprietorship, which is really difficult for you to raise your own profit, or also the partnership. So it is better if you're going to establish a corporation. Limited liability or ownership is transferable. So if ever that you feel tired to manage this kind of business, then you can transfer the name to another owner. Possible tax advantage, as taxes may be lower for an incorporated business. So disadvantages, more expensive to set up a corporation than other business forms. So as what I said a while ago, so sole proprietorship, it's inexpensive and easy to register. Partnership, the same goes as well. But however, for corporation, it might be a little bit difficult since it is a high level of business structure, so it is more expensive. Possible conflicts between shareholders and directors, which is a common problem, which is also a problem in partnership since you are not running the business alone. Extensive corporate records required, including documentation filed annually with the government. So the higher the business, the more work that you are going to do, and the more the records. You may be required to prove residency or citizenship of directors. So this is also one minor problem when you are going to establish a corporation. Alright, so we have the last one, which is cooperative. So a cooperative is owned and controlled by an association of members. It can be set up as a for-profit or as a not-for-profit organization. This is the least common form of business, but can be appropriate in situations where a group of individuals or businesses decide to pool their resources and provide access to common needs, such as the delivery of products or services, the sale of products or services, employment, and more. So this kind of business structure is a bit different with the sole proprietorship, partnership, and corporation. Alright, so we also have the advantages and disadvantages of running a cooperative business. So we have number one, and controlled by its members. So since the business is owned and controlled by association of members, so it's really fair, and also you are not going to manage the business alone. So you're not going to make decisions alone. Alright, so number two, democratic control, one member, one vote. Your profits will be distributed among members. So if ever that you are going to join a cooperative business, then you are also going to earn profit. Alright, so disadvantage, longer decision-making process. Participation of all members is required in order to succeed. So the problem is that what if one member is missing, or it's not supporting the business, so it's really difficult for you to make decision. It might take longer, and also there's a big possibility that the business will fail or will run in a short time. Possible conflict between members, so it's really common when you are not running the business alone. Alright, so we are also going to discuss the business types in Korea. So we are going to explore the business types that exist in Korea. So we also have four types, or four ways for foreign nationals to engage in business activities in Korea. So we have in Canada, we have sole proprietorship, partnership, corporation, and cooperative, which is also the four common business structures in some countries. However, in Korea we have local corporation, private business, a branch, and a license office. So the first two types are mainly governed by the Foreign Investment Promotion Act, and the other two are regulated by the Foreign Exchange Transaction Act. So among the four types of business entities, a license office shall not engage in business activities that generate profit in Korea. Alright, so as you can see here, we have the business structures that is currently existing in Korea. So we have the local corporations, private business, which is regulated by the Foreign, again, Investment Promotions Act, and we have the branch and liaison office, which is regulated, or some laws are often applied to this kind of businesses by the Foreign Exchange Transactions Act. Alright. Alright, just like other business structure, we also have private business that exists in Korea. So where a foreigner operates his or her private business in Korea with an investment amount of not less than Korean Republic won 100 million, the investment is recognized as foreign direct investment. So private businesses are treated equally as local corporations in its business activities. The opening and temporary and permanent closure of a private business is less complex compared to a local corporation, and their corporate social responsibilities are not as heavy as local corporations. However, private businesses experience limitations in financing and securing manpower since they have a lower credit rating, and therefore private businesses are usually small-sized operations. So just like other business structure that exists in any country, it the the concept or the process is also the same with Korea. So we have the characteristic of the private business in Korea. So the owner takes all the profit, fast decision making process. The owner holds unlimited liability, and the appropriate scale is small size. Registration not required. Minimum number of promoters, the owner of the business, and the investment amount not less than a 100 million Korean Republic won. Alright, so we have the next one, which is a local corporation. So provisions of the Foreign Investment Promotion Act and the Commercial Act apply to investments made through local corporations established by a foreign national or foreign company, and the established corporation shall be treated equally as domestic corporations. However, the investment amount must not be less than 100 million Korean Republic won. So we have the general characteristics of convenient financing, liability is limited, ownership and management can be separated. Its appropriate scale is medium or large size, unlike private business, which is a small one. So registration for private business, no registration is required. However, for local corporations, which is a bigger one, registration may be required by the government, and minimum number of promoters, one or more, investment amount not less than 100 million Korean Republic won. Alright, so we have a branch, which makes it more different than the other business structures that exist in other country. So a foreign company that intends to carry out business activities in Korea should appoint a representative for its local branch, undergo the branch establishment procedures stipulated by the Foreign Exchange Transactions Act, and receive court registration. Under the Taxation Act, the branch shall be recognized as a permanent establishment. So with respect to the tax imposed on the profits generated by the branch, the tax rate applied is equal to the branches of domestic companies. So that's what makes it different to the other business structure. The governing law, which is the Foreign Transactions Act, corporation type, it's a foreign corporation. Minimum or maximum investment, no limitations, so unlimited. Agency to process notifications and grant permits, Ministry of Strategy and Finance, and identity. The head office and the branches are of single entity.
Alright, so we have the last one, which is the liaison office. While a branch undertakes sales activities in Korea to generate profit, a liaison office only carries out non-sales functions such as business contacts and market research, etc., on behalf of the head of the company. Unlike branches, liaison offices do not need corp registration and are given a unique business code number which is equivalent to business registration at the jurisdictional tax office in Korea. So this is the most, for me, it's the most basic one since it's a non-profit business structure, and it's also its structure focuses mainly on business contacts and market research. So unlike the other structures such as the corporations, the branch, and also the private business, which is a which generates profit, this one is really different. So if I'm going to Korea and establish a business, I would prefer not to, to establish a liaison office since it does not generate profit. So it's just like other business-minded person or entrepreneurs, they are more on generating profit. However, this is really quite this is quite interesting since it's quite different. It's all about market research on behalf of the head company. Okay, let's move on. So every business has to undergo a process. So the business owner needs to think of the business name and the registration and all of that. Whatever business structure an entrepreneur or a business owner wants to establish, it must undergo the basic process. All right. So we have. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on with the first one. Alright, so when you're setting up a business, you need to ensure that all your bases are covered. Consider the following steps as you navigate through the business startup phase. So we have the first step, we have to plan the business. The second one, organize your finances. Where is the capital coming from? Registering your business. After the planning and organizing, you have to register the name of your business and also the business structure. And then after that, after you've undergone the three basic process, of course you have to you have to have manpower, right? So let's move on with the first one, planning your business. So we have the sub process, or we have the steps rather. First one, market research statistics. So conduct a market research if ever that you're going to establish a business, whether it's a sole proprietorship, a corporation, or a partnership like that. So first of all, you have to conduct a market research. The location, the people, the consumers, and also the demographics like that. So you have to conduct all of that to ensure that you'll meet your future goals, your financial goals. Okay, so we have number two, decide the structure of the business. So after conducting your research, you have to find out what type of business structure you would like to establish, whether it's a corporation, a partnership, a sole proprietorship, or a cooperative. After deciding the type of business, of course, you have to think of a business name and make sure that the business name is unique and easy to remember and should not be the same with other businesses that is currently existing. And also make sure that the business name is relevant to the business to the product or services that you provide. So don't just think of any cute name or names that just pops up in your mind. Make sure it's relevant, right? So after that, we have to choose the location. So if I'm going to put up my own business, if ever that that in the future I will have capital to establish such my dream business, I'm going to set it up to a place where there are a lot of people. Of course, any businesses should do like that to attract a lot of consumers or customers. Alright, next one, marketing and sales. How will you market your business and interact with your customers can vastly influence your success. So it depends upon your how are you going to promote or introduce your product or service to to your future consumers and customers. So it depends upon you. Like you have like what you're going to use mass media for to promote your business, or social media mass media such as social media like Facebook, like that. So it depends upon you. And then regulated business activities. Learn about regulations that apply to key business activities such as exporting, importing, marketing, and managing employees. Of course, if ever that you are going to establish a business, you have to learn the rules and regulations. You have to make up your own policies. You have to, of course, you have to know the how to expand, just in case that in the future that you already on your way to meet your financial goals or your company goals. So you have to have an idea, or you have to be knowledgeable to such uh, to such activities such as such as exporting, importing, and etc. Okay. All right. So we can now move on to phase two, which is organizing your finances. All right. So the first one is write your business plan. All right. So know what elements are considered essential in any business plan, and the key points that should be included in each section of your plan. So grants and financing, which is the second step. Find out how to access funding for your business. So if ever that your capital or maybe short, so you have to find out other resources where you can access fund to support your business. Benchmarking. How does your business measure up to others in your industry? Benchmarking allows you to evaluate your performance and ensure that your business is operating at an optimum level. So you have to perform such observations and evaluations if ever that your business is doing well or not. Managing your finances. You can use these resources to help you understand financial concepts and learn about tasks like budgeting, financial analysis, and bookkeeping. So it's all about finances, alright? Finance. Alright, so after organizing, we have to register now your business. So you have to submit your business name request. Name approval prevents the use of names that are so similar as to confuse or mislead people. And it provides a record allowing the public to determine ownership of the company. Names are checked against the list of registered corporations in Canada to ensure that there's no duplication. So duplication is not allowed. So as what I've mentioned a while ago, so you have, if ever that you're going to establish a business, make sure that it is unique and it is not the same with other businesses that is currently existing in the country or in Canada, for example. And also it should be relevant to your products, to the products and services that you are offering. So under the Partnership Act, the proprietorship or partnership names are not protected, meaning there could be multiple companies with the same name. So for this kind of business structure, which is the proprietorship and partnership, so it's not really that protected. All right. After that, we have now to register your business. So once you have been notified that your business name has been approved, so it should be asked for approval first before you can register your business. You have 56 calendar days to register your business name or complete your incorporation process. So most provincial and territorial governments require you to register your business with them. So you don't have to go to a faraway place or faraway branch or government branch just to register your business. There is a provincial or territorial governments that can help you with that. To register as a sole proprietorship or partnership, so you can do the following steps or follow the following steps. first one online at the One Stop Business Registry, second one in person at Small Business BC, or number three by mail to the BC Corporate Registry. All right. So next one, to register as cooperative, you have to refer to the BC Business Corporate Registry website. And if ever that you are going to register as a corporation, you have to do three steps. First one, self incorporation online at corporate online. The second one, assisted self incorporation using lawyer prepared materials such as incorporation kit for British Columbia by Simply Legal. All right. And next one, third, incorporation through a lawyer. If you need a lawyer, you may wish to contact the lawyer referral service. Alright, make sure you have a business license to operate. So after registering, after thinking of the name, so after doing the steps on how you are going to register, now you will need to have a license, business license, to make sure that your operation is legal. Alright, most municipalities in British Columbia municipalities in British Columbia require that you register for a business license, which gives you permission to operate your business on your premises, whether at your home or in a commercial space within the municipality. In some instances, you may be required to obtain a license in municipalities where you do not maintain premises but do carry on business. Contact your local city hall as well as each community in which you're doing business to see which permits, including mobile business licenses, might be required for your type of business. So if ever that you're going to require a business license, you may contact your local city hall for this one and ask for the process on which you are going to follow in order to obtain a business license. If your business is located in an incorporated municipality, city, town, village, or district, obtain a business license from the municipal business license office. So you have another option. Please note that the additional regulations from federal, provincial, and or municipal governments might apply to your particular business, and that you should consult the appropriate authority for more information. Alright? So, provincial tax information. So, after that, after obtaining a business license, we should know about the provincial sales tax. You must register with the Consumer Taxation Branch, Ministry of Finance and Corporate Relations, and collect social service tax on your taxable sales and leases if you engage in any of the following activities: virtually any type of retail sales or services. The Consumer Taxation Branch will issue you a certificate of registration and provide information on your responsibilities. If ever that you're going to follow this kind of process, and if ever that you have information, you may contact the Consumer Taxation Branch, which is located on 1061 4th Street, Victoria, British Columbia. This only applies to Canadian people. Federal Goods and Services Tax, GST. If your annual revenue from the sales or taxable goods and services will exceed $30,000, you are required to register for GST. If you are below than 30,000 figures, you need to not register. If you do not register, you will not charge GST to your customer, and you will not be able to receive a refund for any GST paid on any of your business purchases. For more details, you may contact the Revenue Canada Excise. Alright, so you have two provincial tax information: a provincial tax, which is the provincial sales tax, and the federal goods and services tax. that is currently existing in Canada. If ever that you're going to establish a business in the future, you must know or must have an idea to which tax you will be put on. All right. So after that, you after registering a business or registering a business, obtaining a business license, and then also the provincial tax information. I'm sorry. You are going to obtain now. You will obtain a business number. So business number, when you register with Revenue Canada for any of the following four business accounts: corporate income tax, import export, payroll deductions, and the goods and services tax, you will now receive a business number to identify you to Revenue Canada. Right? Alright, so after that, next one, we have to hire and manage employees. Right? So the first one, we hire employees. Your employees are the key to day-to-day functioning of your business. You will want to determine how many employees you require and what qualifications they need. Then you will need to recruit the best and brightest and create a working environment that they want to be part of. Of course, if your business is quite small, like partnership like that, it may not require a lot of employees. The number of employees will depend of how large your business is. If it's a corporation, of course, you will be needing a lot or many employees to for your day-to-day operations. Labor requirements: if you are hiring employees or subcontracting for labor, you should know the requirements for minimum wage, for the salary, statutory holidays, and other employer-employee rights. For details, contact the Employment Standards Branch Office of the Ministry of Skills, Training, and Labor. Alright? So after hiring, of course, you need to know all about the salaries or the rules and regulations or the policies that applies to the employee, both the employee and the employer. Right? So next one, workplace health and safety. You have an obligation to ensure that health and safety of all your employees while they are working. So this requires you to comply with the certain regulations and standards for the safety of your workplace. So if ever that you're going to hire employees, it might be best, or in any business structure, you might need to require an employee to conduct health test before you hire them, or after hiring them, you may need to require them to have a health certificate, and after that, after hiring them, they need to apply for a health insurance, just to ensure that the health and safety of your company or your business. All right, so we have the basic tax environment in Canada. So how does Canada's tax system work? In Canada, we have a progressive tax system. This means that the more money you earn, the more taxes you could pay. So as explained by the Canada Revenue Agency, many of the services and benefits we enjoy as Canadians are made possible through taxes. We pay taxes on our income and on most goods and services we purchase in Canada. So the government collects these taxes to pay for such things such as roads and highways, hospitals, education, healthcare, national defense, police and fire services, parks and playgrounds, libraries, garbage collection, and many other programs and services. So you know now, those people who are residing in Canada, you know where the fund is coming from. So all the services and programs that are being conducted and existing in Canada, it all came from the tax that businesses are trying to pay. The businesses are paying. So tax revenue also helps government redistribute wealth by funding social programs such as an old age security, Canada Child Tax Benefit, Universal Child Care Benefit, and Working Income Tax Benefit. So all the taxes that the businesses are paying goes straight to a what they call that, to a good benefit. All right. So how are taxes calculated? Individuals and families, businesses and charities are required to declare their income annually and pay any applicable taxes. Taxes are calculated based on the level of income, deductions permitted, and credits. So there is no there there is no basic calculation for this one. I mean, what I mean is, it the calculation will depend of the level of income. All right, so if your income is more than 100,000, then 100,000, then the taxes will not be the same as those with lower income. So individuals and families complete an annual tax return following instructions issued by the CRA and the provinces. Alright, so let's talk about the taxes. So there are different taxes that is currently existing in Canada. So the first one is the goods and services taxes, and there are assigned provinces. For example, Alberta, British Columbia, Manitoba, Northwest Territories. Meaning, so what does it mean? The GST is a tax that applies to most supplies of goods and services in Canada. The GST applies to the following, like many supplies of real properties, intangible personal property. In these provinces, there may be also provincial sales tax or a retail sales tax in place. For the rates of each province, see GST and HST rates. So we also have harmonized sales tax, which is assigned to New Brunswick, Newfoundland and Labrador, Nova Scotia, Ontario, and Prince Edward Islands. Generally, it has the same meaning with the goods and services taxes. So the same base of property for goods and services in Canada. And then in these provinces, HST is imposed in provinces that have been harmonized their provincial sales tax with the GST. These provinces are referred to as participating provinces. Alright, so what is this PST or provincial sales tax? Provincial sales tax is a retail sales tax that applies when a taxable goods or services is purchased, acquired, or brought into British Columbia, unless a specific exception applies. The PST generally applies for the purchase or lease of new and used goods in British Columbia, goods brought, sent, or delivered into British Columbia for use in British Columbia, the purchase of software, services, accommodation, legal services, telecommunication services, gifts of vehicles, boats, and aircrafts. So if your business is required to register to collect PST, you must charge and collect PST at the time the tax is payable, unless a specific exemption applies. You report and pay the PST you collect, as well as the PST you may owe on items you used in your business. Okay, so we have three taxes that exist in Canada. So, and each of these taxes have assigned countries. So how do they charge a sales tax? So you sell goods or provide services in Canada. If so, you are required to collect sales tax from your customers on many items they purchase, depending on the province or territory, as what I showed you a while ago. So each tax has its own assigned territory or province. So you need to collect either combination of GST and PST, GST only, or AHT. So HST combines PST with GST to create one tax. So if you operate in an HST participating province, you will collect sales tax at the following rates. So we have 15% for New Brunswick, Newfoundland, 15% for the HST assigned territories. We have this percentage for collecting for charging sales tax. Alright, so if you operate in the following provinces, you need to collect 5% GST as well as provincial sales tax, with the provincial sales tax rates as follows. So we have here the assigned countries for charging GST. So if you operate in the province of Alberta or in one of the three territories, Northwest Territories, Nunavut, or the Yukon, you do not need to collect sales tax on the goods and services beyond the 5% GST. So there's an exception to some territories. So on the right side, you will see here how they charge the GST, the percentage, and also with the PST and the total tax rate in each territory where GST is being charged. So how do I collect GST and HST? So to begin with, you need to register for a GST and HST account. So that's what you're going to do first. This is done through the Canada Revenue Agency, except in Quebec, where you need to register through Revenue Quebec or Quebec. A small supplier does not have to register for a GST and HST account. To be considered as such, your business must be sole proprietorship, partnership, or corporation with 30,000 or less in total revenue in the last 4 consecutive calendar quarters or in any singular calendar quarter. So once you begin collecting the GST and HST, you need to inform your customers. So it's like in the Philippines, they usually inform the customers not verbally but they know that they are being charged by in the receipts. It is the tax being charged usually is being seen on the receipts. Receipts, invoices, and contracts are the most common ways of letting clients know what they are being charged. So in the Philippines, we have the value-added tax, and as what I've said earlier a while ago, it is usually seen on the receipt. You may also be required to provide specific information on invoices for customers who are also GST, HST registrants, so that they can claim input tax credits. So how do I calculate the GST or HST? So GST, HST is added to the total retail price of goods and services. For example, in Alberta, where only GST applies, you would calculate $100 item in the following way. So GST 5% again, so 100, 5% of 100. So we have $5, so the total is $105. So let's check first on that. Alright, and then in Ontario and HST, participating province, you would calculate the sales tax like this. So the price is $100, and then HST 13%. So you're just going to get 13% of 100. So the total is $113. All right. So keep in mind that in the PSC provinces, sales taxes are calculated in different ways. That is, in Manitoba and Saskatchewan, PST like GST is calculated on the retail price only. The two taxes then added to the retail price for your total. For example, in Manitoba, so we have $100. We need to charge 5% for the GST. So we have $5 and PST 7%. So we need to get the 7% from 100. So we have $7, and then we have to add it all to get the total tax charged. All right. So how do I report and send GST or HST to the government? So once you are registered for GST, HST, Canada Revenue Agency will assign you a reporting period. You file a GST or HST return for each reporting period. So your GST, HST return will show CRA the amount of GST, HST you have collected during the reporting period. So it will also be shown there all the taxes that you collected from your customers, along with the amount of input tax credits you are claiming. So if you operate your business in the province of Quebec, the GST, HST reporting and filing system that is used where Revenue Quebec functions very much like that of a CRA for the rest of Canada. So the reporting period you are assigned is based on the annual revenue you generate from your sales of taxable goods and services. So the government will give you a reporting for period. Alright, so we have, if you wish to change your reporting period, perhaps because your business uses accounting periods that are not monthly or quarterly, you must notify the Canada Revenue Agency. Just in case you need to update them for the changes of your reporting period, you must notify the CRA for that. So we on the left part below, we see the reporting period for the revenue. It depends upon the revenue. All right. Revenue generated. So, for example, $1.5 million or less, you need to report annually. More than 1.5 million up to 6 million report quarterly, and more than 6 million you have to report monthly to CRA. Alright, so how to file tax return. So Canada Revenue Agency and Revenue Quebec requires the most GST, HST Quebec or Quebec sales tax registrants to file their returns electronically. You are required to file electronically if so they have rules and rules for that. So your business does 1.5 million or more in annual taxable sales. You are required to recapture input tax credits for the provincial portion of HST, or you're a builder who has been affected by HST applicable transitional housing measures in British Columbia and Ontario. Alright, so I hope that you understand my presentation. So that's the end, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.